Hi everyone, today I am working on, you guessed it, more swap cards. At the beginning of a new catalog, Stampin' Up! Demonstrators make a lot of swap cards. I have joined in a few different swaps with my local team, with teams from other places. I have a big swap, two big swaps at the end of this month that are due by the end of this month, and we're already almost there, so I really need to get going. So today I am working with Wildflower Designs. I want to show you the page in the catalog just so you can see everything at one time. Ooh. Here it is. Wildly Flowering is the suite name, and you can purchase the entire suite with one code if you want to, or you can get things individually. And for this card, I'm just using the Wildflower Design stamp set, the dies, pretty much almost everything, the cute little kind of like hammered metal. They're calling them textured dots. I'll show you them in person in a minute. And then this beautiful paper. I really like this paper because I just like these white flowers against the darker background. That was, to me, I really liked that. And this is using colors that are from the In Color collection. So you can see Moody Mauve, Misty Moonlight, actually Misty Moonlight's all the time, so I misspoke, and Wild Wheat. Mossy Meadow is also a current, but you've got that Moody Mauve and Wild Wheat that are from the In Colors. And they're using Misty Moonlight, but I'm going to pull in some of this boho blue twine, and it looks perfect. You can see. So anyway, got some options there, and I'm going to use my watercolor pencils. I have those on my desk from the last group of swaps that I did, and I just love using my watercolor pencils, so I'm going to use them again. I'm just going to flip really quick to the ribbon page just because I'm not positive that twine is still available. Still getting used to this new, oh, there they are. Okay, it comes in a pack with all of the last year's In Colors. So yes, you get the Moody Mauve, Wild Wheat, Boho Blue, Pebbled Path, and Copper Clay. So there it is. Okay, phew. Anyway, here it is in real life. And I don't know which one of these I want to use, so I did a version with each, and you are going to have to help me decide which one I want to do en masse. All right, these are the papers from the pack, and I just really like them. Like I said, I love that white flower. I'm going to go with the Moody Mauve. I think my favorite is the Wild Wheat. Maybe the Boho Blue. Moody Mauve was not jumping out to me, but all last year. But then when this paper came out, now it is jumping out at me. So I really like that. This is my favorite paper from the pack. I love this one with the big white flowers. And this is like burlap, which is nice. Nice background. Look how pretty that is. Makes me want to get out my paintbrushes. It's so pretty. Okay, look at this. That's that Wild Wheat, which I love. I love Wild Wheat. I will miss it when that goes away. Beautiful. And here it is on a crumb cake background, which I think is really, really pretty. And then they have this burlappy blue, Moody Mauve. Anyway, it's just a beautiful paper. And we're going to go with Moody Mauve for this one. So I cut already some pieces. I'm going to do 2 at a time. This is 3.5 by 4 3/4. And that's going to be a layering piece. I've got 2 pieces of basic white for the inside of the card. I've got card bases in Moody Mauve. And then we're going to use the dies to make some layers too. So here's the stamp set. I love this font. And if you saw my Citrus Blooms video where I watercolored these, look at the font. It's like the same font, which makes me happy. I mean, I'm not positive that it's exactly the same. I was looking at it really closely trying to figure it out if it was. I mean, it's so close that if I had to really stare at each letter, then probably I should just say yes, it is. But like the H on this one, the line doesn't extend the downward stroke, whereas here it does. But I mean, I'm being picky, right? It looks perfect together. So I really like that because I thought, wow, that's really gonna work together, because I've got sending happy thoughts and all the love. Hello, you've been on my mind. I mean, those all work so great together. Thank you. You're the best kind of person. And it wasn't meant to go together. The stamps itself are completely different in style, but the font. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. These are the dies. These are really nice. I love how big this was. I wasn't expecting the size on this one. I saw it in the catalog and it showed kind of how big it was, but for some reason my brain didn't calculate that. But it's like almost the size of a card front, and so that's really awesome. And it's got 2 cuts, so you can make a frame with this, and then there's a inside is also detailed, so if you use both the cutout or the frame piece, you've got 2 different layers. And then this one is pretty with the scallops. We're going to use this one. You might have noticed that I trace around my dies. I always do that because if I misplace one, I know something's missing. This is going to be tricky though, because these kind of fit inside of each other, so I might not notice that that's a different missing one. So I love this one, and we're going to use this little guy here. So these dies are super nice. I really enjoy those, and we are ready. Okay, so how I wanted to do this is, once again, if you saw my citrus blooms video from yesterday, I am going from the patterns that they give us, these card layout inspirations, and I did the first one last time, and I'm going with the second one. I think these are really fun, and I'm kind of challenging myself to work my way through. I know it's not always 100% going to work, but it worked perfect today. So I'm using this little sketch right here to make my card. That was my challenge to myself. And so how that card sketch looks is, you've got one layer like this. So you've got, it doesn't say it has to be designer series paper, but how perfect is this designer series paper? And then it's got some twine wrapped around it and a label. So we're going to do that. I'm going to add a little more because I like to do a little more. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use my tear and tape to hold my wrapped twine in place. And I like to do that. It's just so much easier to keep things where you want them to be. And then it won't shift around. If I just wrap it, it shifts around. Okay, so here's a little trick I want to show you. I'm going to wrap this around a few times, and what you can do to kind of save on your twine is, rather than just going all the way around like this, you can go one way and then stick it down on that adhesive, and then come back, push down on that adhesive, and come around. And that way I have not used several inches, because this is a few inches here. What did I say it was? 3.5 inches worth of twine I'm saving over the course of 15 cards, which I need to make. That's quite a bit of, that's a couple yards, right, of twine. Now, I like using linen thread because it is inexpensive, and so that is always a great choice in my opinion, and I think it's really pretty, and it works perfectly with this whole burlappy look. Okay, so I've got that one. Let's do this one. And you can even go a third time. You could snake it, you know, once and then twice. And if you wanted, you can go around again. Okay. When I glue this down, so that tear and tape is really strong, so that's going to hold it nicely. But when I put this on my card, since I'm adding adhesive anyway, I will touch the linen thread just to give it a little more stick. Okay, and I'm going to center this. Is that up? Right in the middle. I'm going to push down where that tear tape is. Okay, let's do this one. Okay, now I'm going to cut some more of that linen thread to tie a very loose and big bow, and I'm going to show you how I do that. You notice I have this little grid paper here. This kind of helps me figure out my lengths, and I'm going to go all the way to the end. So I've got, that's 13 inches. So I'm going to go 1, 2, so that makes it 26 inches. I need another one. 1, 2. Okay, now this gets pretty curly from being on that spool, so I am going to kind of run a bone folder down the length of it just to kind of uncurl it a little bit. Sometimes the curly is nice, but sometimes it's too curly. Okay, so let me just kind of run this over it, and then it's less curly, and sometimes that makes it easier to work with. So to tie the bow, I'm going to find the middle. This is how I tie my bows, and I'm kind of bow challenged. I have a sister who can tie bows like nothing, and they always turn out perfect, and they don't twist and curl, and they look great every time, and I am not that person. But I also am not patient enough to use tools. Like some people have those bow tire tools with the dowel. I'm just not a patient person. I just like to do things fast, and I don't like to have as much stuff. Anyway, so that is my bow, and I love the looseness of this because most of this is going to get hidden behind a label. So this is a big bow. We want it to take up a lot of space and kind of flow. All right, so let's do this one. So again, we're going to fold it in half. And kind of get out some of those curls. Okay. And then find the middle. All right, and then I'm going to make 2 bunny ears. I kind of use this finger to kind of push down, and these 2 index fingers to bring the twine up, and that's my bunny ears. And then I'm going to just tuck it through. And pull. So, and then once you've got it, you can adjust if you need to. A big loose floppy bow is what I'm going for. All right, now we need some glue dots. I'm using all the adhesive today. Okay, so the glue dot is just going to hold that bow where I want it to be. Right there. Okay. And that one is going to go across. So I'm kind of got them on an angle. There we go. Then we're going to put our label on top of that. So we're going to use, what do I do with that little die? We're going to use this guy. And I'm going to use crumb cake, which is probably the cardstock I use the most. And that's going to go like this. Now I'm going to cut them at the same time. So I'm going to try to stamp it on here. Oh, see, I thought this was it. It's from the Citrus Blooms. I want the thank you. I'm going to stamp that in Early Espresso. And I'm going to go towards the right, go over to the side, because I want to leave a little space on the left for a flower. Okay, so there's my thank you. And then I'm going to stamp the flower in crumb cake. And we're going to color it with those colored pencils. So I don't... I like to color while it's still on the big piece rather than cut it out and then color, just because I have more paper to hold and turn. So let's color it. Now I'm using, like I said, colored pencils. I'm using the white, Night of Navy, and Old Olive. So just for reference, these are in different assortments. The white comes in assortment 1, the navy comes in assortment 2. If you wanted to, you could go with the blue that's in assortment 1. Okay, I make that little reference for myself. I'll show it to you again, just really quick. I love colored pencils, and I like to see the colors that I could get, and I want to see what they look like for real, because the Old Olive looks pretty close to the paper. Some of them are not as close. Like the navy is a little more like Blueberry Bushel to me, and the red has a slight more Poppy Parade look to me in my eye, but the rest are pretty good, spot on. So anyway, I like to see how dark, how light I can get it. So this is my little assortment, and I keep that near my pencils, so whenever I use them, I can pull them out. And you can mix colors and do all kinds of fun things. I talk a lot about mixing colored pencil to get different colors in my Zinnia video. So if you want to look at the colored pencil Zinnia video, you'll see all kinds of color mixing. All right, this is a tiny little flower though, so not a lot going on. I'm going to use that Old Olive just as it is. I'm just kind of giving a light pressure, just kind of touching over it. And then I'm going to go a little heavier down the vein, just a little bit. And these little tiny little wispy bits, I'm just going to touch them. Okay, and then where the flower comes out of the, what is that? Where the bud is happening out of the stem, a little bit more of the old olive there. Okay, now I'm going to bring in this white. Now I want it to be kind of like the blue flower, but I love, like I said, I love that white on the dark, so I couldn't help myself but to bring out the white pencil. So I'm just going to color the whole thing in white, and you could leave it like that if you wanted to and not add any color, because there's white flowers in our stamped or our paper, but I decided to add some blue. And this blue is not navy, but because I'm putting that white down, it's going to help lighten the pencil blue, and then it won't be as dark. So I'm going to come in and just kind of go over it, light pressure, and add some blue just for pretty. And I'm leaving the tips white. I just really like it. All right, so I've got my flower. There we go. How simple was that? All right, let's cut it out. All right, so remember I don't want to center this, I want it towards the edge. And then I'm going to use a little bit of washi tape. Just to keep it in place. Sometimes this little machine bounces around a little bit more just because it's so light. All right, and then, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but on a stem, there's usually a little hole there, and that's so that you can see the stem through and know that you're not tilted. So I'm gonna put this down, but I'm gonna then look for that stem and see if I can see it through the hole. And my eyes are actually not great. So even if I could see it through the hole, I probably couldn't. All right, there we go. And crank. Isn't that just so pretty? I love it. All right, I have another one already. So to put these down, I'm going to use my dimensionals to kind of create a bridge over this knot, because it's kind of like bumpy there. So the dimensionals are going to lift it over that. So I'm going to go, and rather than put the dimensionals on here and not know exactly where they're going to fall and then maybe create more bumpiness, I'm actually going to put them directly down here. And every once in a while I can say, is it covering? Is it not covering? There we go. Let's see. One up here. I'm going to cut myself an edge for over here. Okay. I think that's good. And I'm going to go ahead and stick down my labels. So this is a really simple card, but I think it's really pretty. And I'll show you at the end the other versions with the different colors, and hopefully you can help me decide if I should go with the color or if I should stick with the linen thread. I like the linen thread because of the crumb cake cardstock, but I like the colors just because they're colors. All right, so I've got those down, and then I'm going to go ahead and use another dimensional to stick up my flower. On the inside, we're going to go ahead and just put down the white, but I'm also going to dress it up a little bit. There we go. And let's add some embellishments. Let's add those fun little dots I was telling you about. So these are called, I forgot already, textured dots. They're smaller than I thought, and they look kind of like a flower center. They've got little kind of dots in them. So I'm going to put those down. They look nice on this dotted, what is that, It's not a hexagon. What is that? Okay, so I've got those down. And then let's put our insides. Make sure I don't put it on the wrong side. A little strip of this designer series paper to the bottom. There we go. Okay, here is the linen thread version, which I really like, but let me show you. Now here I used the blue because I wanted to bring out more of that blue. So here's the blue version. Okay, and then here is the Moody Mauve version. Now I kind of felt like the Moody Mauve is where I intended to go, but I do feel like it's lost against all that mauve. Also, I didn't do my trick where I put the dimensional on the paper and not on the back of the label, which is why this one's sticking up, because when I stuck it down, it landed on top of that thread, so it's not making good contact with it. There we go, cardstock. Okay, so do you like linen thread, the boho blue twine, or the Moody Mauve? Thank you. And here I didn't put the blue, so I just used white. So you can kind of decide on that too. But I think this is my favorite. You tell me what your favorite is. I hope that you will give me a like on my video. I'm trying to increase my video performances. So I hope you give me a like. The YouTube algorithms will show my video more often. And I've kind of got a challenge going on with my kids about my YouTube channel. So if you can give me a like, leave a comment, that's great. All that helps my YouTube algorithms, and it would make me happy. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know which one. Bye.